George Kilpatrick Inspiration for the Nation, Patrona Jones Browser. We know that she's elected official for the Syracuse Common Council, 4th District, right? 4th District?
Fourth District, yes.
Yes, so she's elected and she's here to talk about the work she's doing in the community with the number of different hats that she wears. She's an entrepreneur, but she's also community. And I just have to say this, Patrona, you know, she's elected, but you know what? She's doing the work, whether she's in the public or not. This sister is doing the work quietly, without fanfare. She's just doing the work. So I just want to give you a shout out because that's for real, right? Sometimes people are like, oh, you know, but she's doing the work. You know, she's about the betterment. She works with our kids. She's just doing the work. And so you've got an event coming up. But first, tell me in what capacity you joined me today.
So tonight I am taking off the elected official hat and I am joining you as the vice president of the board of Tomorrow's Neighborhoods Today and the board delegate for the Southside Sector 3 TNT sector.
Which is Tomorrow's Neighborhoods Today. Tell me what Tomorrow's Neighborhoods Today is, because there's quadrants all over the city, and your quadrant happens to be the Southside. So talk to me about what Tomorrow's Neighborhood Today, TNT, is all about.
Yeah. So TNT is, it was originally birthed out of the city. So it was the city's right arm as far as in a way to reach residents. So it was created as somewhat of a like homeowners or neighborhood association type of organization. So we have 8 sectors throughout the city, each side of town, including Lakefront over near Franklin Square, has a sector. And it was birthed out of the city being able to have city departments attend meetings to gain knowledge and access to residents as to what was taking place in their neighborhoods, what they wanted to see happen, were there any concerns going on. So those things were typical of meetings that would take place throughout the community in each sector of the town, just a way for residents to be able to have a voice, and that they can, you know, get that across to what they want to have done in their community.
And so what do you want to see happen in the South Side?
Oh, so the South Side, of course, we've got lots of work to do. We've been doing a lot of work in the last, I'll probably say the last 8 years have been really an uptick and improvements throughout the South Side. We created a 5-year plan about 6 years ago. We've touched on some of those things that was in our 5-year plan, more or less some of the housing issues. We still have things that we need to work on as far as the economic improvement of our business corridors, which is somewhat taking place right now. We do have the South Ave corridor that Watt Dixie and his group was instrumental in bringing the DRI, the downtown revitalization implementation to that area. And then we have the county that is currently attempting to do some Main Street improvements along the South Salina Street corridor. So those things being revitalized, the housing stock in the business corridors was key for us. So then we have transportation and walkability. So once we get all of those things in place, and I'm pretty sure like the South Side will be looking up, and I'll give it about 3 to 4 years.
And I'd like to get you to talk about an event you have coming up, because I can get real deep into like perceptions and how you really speak about the everyday people. Well, let me just give you an opportunity to do that, right? Because, you know, we hear one thing, or at least a certain way the South Side is portrayed, as opposed to the living experiences of the residents trying to do exactly what you're trying to do. So speak to that, because I don't want to not give you that space,
Mhm.
because I think that's an
Yeah.
important piece.
Absolutely. I think that for residents who live on the South Side, like many other neighborhoods, the Strathmore neighborhood, the Winkworth neighborhood, the East Side neighborhoods, people love where they live. It's no different for residents on the South Side. The things that are highlighted in the news per se are kind of minute issues for us that live in the community. It's not minute in a sense of like the how it affects us, but it's not as broad as the news would somewhat make it seem like it's a constant thing that's always happening. It's not like that for us. And we do take pride in where we live. People here, it's people aren't like hard up to leave the area. A lot of us have roots here and we want to see our neighborhood, not necessarily go back to what it was, but flourish in the way that it did before. And in today's modern way, I should say.
Right. And people are choosing to live there. So
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. We have, like I just said, I spoke to the fact that we have lots of new housing stock. A lot of the new housing stock is homeowner occupancy homes. And contrary to what some people believe, that the market is, out of the reach for individuals who live in this neighborhood, but the individuals who are buying these homes are people who've always lived in a neighborhood. So we do have, people who are buying homes right here where they grew up. They want to stay here. It's not, an influx of individuals from another neighborhood or another town or another city that's buying the homes. It's homegrown individuals from the South Side.
And so you've got an event coming up, the Waymakers. How'd you come up with that, and when is it going to happen?
So that's a little bit of a story. So I hope we got time. The Waymaker celebration came about during my run. I was making my rounds throughout the community
Now
and
this
I
is the
stopped
elected
in.
official hat. Now let's go. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was the pre-election, but
Right.
yes.
Right. Right. Right.
So I stopped into a local barbershop, Blues Brothers, and which is located directly across from the Sankofa
Park.
Park on South Salina Street by the library, and having a conversation with Bill Blue. He actually, at the time, the sign for the park was gone. Sometimes they take them away to repair them, and it wasn't there. And he asked me where was the sign, and they should name they should rename the park after Charles Dozier.
Oh yes.
And he wanted me to be the one to do so. And of course, the park is fairly new. There was an organization who was implemented that park and being there. And so that wasn't something that I would, do. I wouldn't try to rename the park. And so, but that stuck with me for months. That stuck with me. How do we honor those who did make a significant impact in this community for the people growing up today that don't know these individuals? You don't want to lose that history. And so um, out of that came the Waymaker celebration. And I said, so I normally do, and you probably know about it, George. I have the Sankofa Urban Market that started 4 years ago now, and it's a bi-weekly urban market to support small Black businesses, home-based businesses that want to be able to reach a larger market outside of who they would normally be able to reach. And so we're going to have that event on July 13th at from 2 to 3:30. This year we'll have four Waymakers that we'll be honoring. And I don't want to say who all of them are at this point. People have probably, well, I guess I can because the flyer's out
It's
there.
out there. I was gonna say.
Yeah, the flyer's out there. So we'll be honoring Charles Dozier,
Mm. I call him the
Charles
mayor of the
Anderson.
South Side, the mayor of the South, the late Charles Dozier, we should say. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Charles Anderson,
Yep.
honorable, who was a counselor as well. The Donna Reese, who done significant things throughout the community.
Former
I mean,
head of
her
the
story is
NAACP. Yeah.
phenomenal. Yes. As well as Willie Morgan.
Mm.
So those are the first four individuals that we'll honor this year. And then hopefully this will continue to be an annual event. As long as I'm around, it'll be an annual event. And so we'll have a banner displayed in the park throughout the summer.
And this will be
And
outside
they'll
or is
get
it an
a
indoor event?
No, this will be outside.
Okay.
This will be outside in the park. It'll
Mm-hmm.
be at Sankofa Park, so it'll be outside, right at the stage, and the banners will be displayed. So, and then but each one of the honorees will get a engraved brick that'll be
Oh,
laid right in the park on that day.
wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So it's gonna be nice.
It's like the South Side Walk of Fame in some ways, right?
Yes,
But
absolutely,
we call it the South
absolutely.
Side Waymakers, right? The South Side
Yes,
Waymakers,
yes,
and each one
yep,
of those individuals certainly have made, and the only person still living of that group
yes,
is Charles Anderson, obviously, uh,
yes.
but Willie Morgan, very active in the
Hmm.
community,
Yes,
former newspaper publisher,
yes,
has the house down the street.
yep,
I'm visualizing it, but very
yes.
active in the community, NAACP.
Hmm. Yep.
Certainly Donna Reese also
Hmm.
NAACP, and even as she was losing her sight later in life, still advocated and was
Still,
very active. I used to love to have her on my show. She used to, George, can we talk about this and that and the other? Come on, Donna, you can come
yeah,
on. And of
yeah,
course, Chuck Dozier, the mayor of the South Side,
yes, 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 yeah.
entrepreneur.
So I'm actually hoping that Donna Reese, her kids are looking for other ways that to honor her. So hopefully out of that will come maybe the Donna Reese Scholarship
Mm,
for probably youth with vision impairment or young adults
mm,
with vision impairment,
mm,
something.
mm.
So finding other ways to keep those individuals' um life, work alive per se. Yeah.
All right. Patrona Jones Rouser, the Honorable Patrona Jones Rouser, but she's again many different hats she's wearing.
Yeah.
But today, talking about the Waymaker celebration. Mark your calendar, July the 13th.
Yes.
From give me the time again.
From 2 to 3:30. We will have a live band. We'll have the soulful melodies of Trump Tight 315. And I say melodies because we may not have singing, but we'll have the band.
Okay.
So they'll be there, and we'll start seating probably a half hour or so prior to the event. We'll also have the Sankofa Urban Market will be going on. So there'll be vendors there as well. So people can feel free to come by earlier, shop around a little bit, enjoy food. We've always had at least one food vendor in the area. So, we'll have those there as well, and then the music, and then the event. And the event, it's not going to be, long. So hopefully, people, will be able to get out there and not miss anything. But from 2 to 3:30 should be the event time span.
All right, check it out. July the 13th, 2 to 3:30, Sankofa Park on the corner of South Salina Street and East Colvin Street
Yes.
here in the city, right there where the Bishop Library is, and the park
Mhm.
is right next door. And
Yep.
it should be a great event for the community. Patrona, thank you for putting this together. And we people should come out and celebrate these pioneers, these waymakers
Absolutely.
who have made our
Absolutely.
city and our community and our neighborhood the
Yes.
best that it can be. Patrona
Yes.
Jones Rouser, thank you so much.
Thanks, George.
Inspiration for the nation.